Hello, everyone. My name is Marcus Trusty, and I'm the founder of CORE, based out of Buena Vista, Colorado. CORE was founded to be a motorized action group, and one of our main missions is to educate and engage the casual motorized user. And this includes full-size 4x4s, ATVs, UTVs, motorcycles, and even those people who don't realize they use motorized recreation to access trailheads and areas on public lands for their chosen form of non-motorized recreation. In reality, we all use the same public lands, road and trail system in some fashion for recreation. And for decades, the motorized user has been losing the land use battle. We have seen trails and even entire areas closed as a result. One of the big issues that has plagued our user group in the past when management decisions and drafted plans are implemented is during public commenting. There are many times during the planning process where management agencies, usually the Forest Service and BLM, they'll solicit comments from the public. Anti-access groups are very skilled at writing comments and having their supporters write comments during these open sessions. And commenting during these periods is extremely important and can be very valuable. Keep in mind that as we go through this, myself and CORE are not defending the land manager's process. We do not agree with how they make decisions in many cases, but this is their process, and the only way to have our views represented is to understand this process and to give high-quality feedback and relevant feedback in the manner they are requesting. So, what happens when you make a comment? Well, land managers will usually classify comments they receive in one of three areas. The first is an unsubstantial comment. And so they do not consider unsubstantial comments when making decisions. And the reasons is because these comments are usually emotional and do not offer specifics relative to the project requesting feedback. So an example might be, you write in, "Dear Forest Service, stop closing all the trails." And while this may reflect all of our current views, and may be true, and in many cases, quite honestly, needs to be said, this is not the venue for it. Contacting your local land management office directly to voice your displeasure with their overall management practices is much more beneficial if you want to tell them to quit closing the areas you love. Okay? The second way they classify comments is substantial. And this means that the comments are specific to the proposed plan and are specific to a proposed action within the plan. And so when you see a draft plan come out, many times the proposal will have alternatives, usually in letter form. So you'll see like example A, B, C, D, and so on. A is usually a control. That option means doing nothing, keeping the access and the management exactly like it is today. As you look at the other options, they may have specifics for how a land management would look if this option were to be chosen. So if you look at this example from the Browns Canyon National Monument Resource Management process, you'll see the turret road here. That is the only motorized or full-size motorized road left that's open in the Browns Canyon National Monument area. It's in two halves. The first half was closed a couple decades ago as a wilderness study area, and the second half of this road is still currently open today. And so this management plan piece here is dealing with the half that is still open. And you'll see Alternative A, which offers current management. And there's no similar action, so it'd keep it exactly as it is today. Alternative B would develop new trailheads or not develop new trailheads or parking facilities, do not develop or designate new trails. Controls will be put in place to reduce impacts and resources from social trails and parking. Okay, so kind of keeps it as it is. We don't market it. We don't make it easier for people to go in there and recreate. We don't make it attractive for that. Alternative C goes a step further, though, where we do create, on a case-by-case basis, additional parking, basic toilets and kiosks and signs and information. So that invites more use because there's more facilities there to handle a larger use in that same area. Okay? So now you see why making an emotional comment does nothing of good or does nothing of note when land managers are looking for specific info and input on proposed actions. And comment even if you don't like the proposed actions or alternatives. Tell them what they're overlooking or what they've missed. When it comes to the road system, um, I've always found that 4x4 users have the best, most complete knowledge of these areas. All right. Some of our families have been using these areas for generations. We love going to these areas. We use these for multi-use recreation, maybe to camp and then to stage, for multiple days to do additional things. We as a user group have the best on-ground knowledge of these roads and trails. Many times we know every curve in the road. We know every water crossing. We know every rock or obstacle. We know how, when, and why these areas and roads are used. We need to let land managers know this, okay? They are not, in most cases, motorized users themselves. They do not understand motorized users, and they do not know the specifics of these areas that they're proposing to manage. That's where we come in. We need to provide this information, right? And the third area they'd classify comments as a form letter. This is when somebody, usually a special interest group, sends out a pre-written letter to their entire contact list and asks people to copy and paste this letter into your email browser and submit that. And this was once the way management decisions were swayed. And it became somewhat of a popularity contest. Kind of like voting. Whoever could get the most form letters backing their position in would win influence. And the management agencies have gone away from this recently, and they now classify these, all of these letters that come in saying the same thing as a form letter. And in many cases, they will count them as a single comment because they all say the same thing. And for this reason, CORE will never send out a letter to copy and paste. We may offer helpful phrases. We may point you in the right direction. We may direct your attention to a specific, alternative or option to comment on, but we will never ask you to copy and paste a full letter. And it's also extremely important to note, when making a final decision, land managers can pull from different options to make that decision. So for example, they may select alternative A for one trail and alternative B for another. And because of this, it's important to make specific comments and not just for a single alternative. Like, I'm in favor of alternative D across the board because it keeps as many trails open as possible. That is not specific enough. And I know that means commenting takes effort. You have to do your homework and you have to know what you're commenting on. But that is the best way we can get our feedback to land managers. And CORE will help you with this. We put out as much info as possible to notify you when comments are open now or in the future, and what the important areas are and what you need to pay attention to when you comment. However, another important point is that if you see a draft plan and your favorite trail is slated to remain open, do not get complacent with that. You still need to comment in favor of keeping that trail open. Don't assume that it'll be left untouched by the process. Remember, there's anti-access groups commenting on the same process. They may not want that area to stay open, and they may offer comments telling the land manager that they need an option that actually allows for closure of that area. So again, don't assume it won't be closed just because it's slated to be open on one of the drafts of the process. Comment on everything that's valuable to you, and what you want to see stay open. All right? We, as a user group, have everything to lose during these processes. It's time we take our access seriously, and we need to do something to maintain it. Okay? Like I said, you can follow our work through CORE at Keeptrailsopen.com. We have a news section there. You can add yourself to our email list. And then on social media, we stay pretty up to date with pushing out information. You can find us at Keeptrailsopen on social media. Follow our feeds. Like our comments, like our posts, share it with your friends. If you see something important, share it on your personal feed. We need to get this information out. It needs to spread like wildfire amongst all motorized user groups so that we can protect our area. Together, we can all do a lot. Thanks for watching. Remember to follow our information.